Abi Haben, actually. Newborn son, Farca Mabruk. Congratulations. Not only you, by the way, Michael Cohen also had a baby boy this week.
Really? I did not know that.
Yes, Brit Milah's today.
Wow, Mabruk.
I believe, I'm not sure, I think Ruby Shahebar also had a baby boy.
Wow, what a week.
So, a lot of action happening in the YMSL.
I thought I was the only one with the Mazal, but
No,
okay.
no, there's Mazal all around, thank
Beautiful,
God.
beautiful.
Also, my main man, JT, came through successfully through a little procedure that he had this
Very
week.
nice. I'm happy to hear that.
You know, he had the little thing with his heart or
Yes.
whatever. So he had that surgery. Everything's good for him.
Glad
So
to hear that.
we're doing great.
JT, best of luck moving forward. Speedy recovery, and hope to see you back on the field soon.
Yes, I think he's only going to miss a week, he claims. So
Yeah, I
think
spoke to him before the season, and he said it could be a week, could be two, depending on how he feels and depending on what the doctors say. But, I mean, because he was on my radar, but
Really?
JT was on my radar.
JT
I was
wasn't
making
on
a
your
trade.
do not draft list?
I was making a trade with Mo Haber, if you remember, during the draft.
Yeah.
We had a draft in right then and there.
Yes.
It was his third and fourth for my third and fourth. We were pulling the trigger, and then I told him, oh no, it was fourth and fifth for fourth and fifth.
Okay.
And we were doing the deal before his third round pick.
Right.
I said, okay, whoa, I'm not going to make the deal until you make your pick, because what if you take the guy
The
that
guy
I
I
want?
want.
Because he has the wraparound. And
he
he
took
said,
JT
he
third.
said, no. I said, well, I'm not making the deal. So I said, who are you taking? Is JT? I said, deal's off, because I want the
Wow.
JT. I was going to
Wow.
put JT in left, and
So JT would have been a left fielder on multiple teams this year, in other words.
I think he was prepared for that in a sense.
Has he given up his center field job in this league?
I don't think he gave it up. I think he could very well still play center field, maybe not at the tier that he used to play it,
Right.
also compared to the other guys around the league.
Farca, please turn off your devices. You're on a nationally
I have to have
broadcast,
him on for the next-
international broadcast over here.
I think he could still play it, but you know, if you need to make a sacrifice, I don't even consider it a sacrifice at this point. If you're going to be on the best team possible and you got to play left or right, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Just like ABJ had no problem moving to right last year, and right's like. It's like it goes from center, and then you go to left, and then you go to right. Somewhat considered like a downgrade,
Right.
but it's really not. Because,
Not anymore.
No, it's really not. It became more important than left field.
Yeah, I think ABJ spoke volumes to that last year when he went to right. I mean, that guy is as good of a center fielder as anybody.
Yeah, top in the league.
Right is a little tricky. Left, you got to play deeper, and people could bomb the ball there.
Your lateral movements are not as hard.
Right.
Where, you know, most of the batters in this league are righties, and the ball spins off the bat, and it could go hook right to left, or so on and so forth. And you got to know how shallow to play certain guys, who could hit over your head, who's going to dunk it in.
Right.
Where, like you said, left field is just, I'm going to play it straight. The guy
Hit
hits
it
it over
deep.
my head, yeah. And if he hits
Right.
it's a totally different position.
Right.
It became very important.
You get your Sam Loudons rocking the ball to left field like that, but then you get anybody could slice the ball to right. It's very, very tricky.
Yeah.
And when you put a guy that's not experienced there, then you run into trouble. Okay, let's go around the league, because I don't know. There's so much enthusiasm lately. When we canceled last week, everyone understood the fields were an absolute mess.
Yeah, we kind of knew it was coming.
You knew it was coming. Mother's Day, but even without Mother's Day, these fields were an absolute mess after all that rain. But this week, everyone's like, "Who's on the show? Make sure we're playing this Sunday." Like, I'm feeling a vibe this week that like
Everyone's itching to get back.
everyone is itching.
Yeah.
And we're
We're
at
in the
week
home
5.
stretch. It's the home stretch.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's getting
you know?
serious now.
You don't realize how quickly the season goes.
It flew.
You know, the first couple of weeks, you're like telling your team, we got to get the kinks out, and you're trying to figure each other out. And now it's like there's 3 weeks left of the season,
Right.
and every single game counts. You know,
Yeah.
a split here, a split there. You could be on the outside looking in. You don't know what's going to happen.
Speaking of being on the outside looking in, this Navy team, I never saw a team lose a game like they lost this past week or 2 weeks ago, whenever we played. I mean, regardless of the fact that they were up 8-5, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, nobody coming up, nobody on base, Ruby number 9, even if Ruby gets a hit, Leo Casson, who hasn't batted in this league in years.
Yeah, a couple of at-bats per season.
Couple of at-bats a season when you're shorthanded.
Right, exactly.
He's batting all year this year, and he's doing pretty good, by the way. But they blow that lead. Not only do they blow the lead, Shimmy makes a complete base running blunder. I know you're a base running, expert.
Right, extraordinaire.
I mean, there's a ball, he's on first base. He shouldn't even be halfway. He should already be on second base if you saw the play that I'm talking about.
Okay.
And he should easily score on that bomb that was hit. Instead, he tried tagging up from first. He only got to third. Ball comes into the infield. This is for the game. Jacobati airmails the throw over Abdo, but Shimmy doesn't even make the turn after third base. 2 base running blunders on one play. Does not score. That's one huge mistake in that game. Who hit the shot? Good question. It was, who's up after Shimmy on this team?
Well, Shimmy's got to be.
It might have been Nabi.
Okay.
It might have been Nabi.
Right, okay.
If not Nabi, I don't remember who actually hit the shot. I was there also. I don't know how I don't remember.
But you got to back it up a second. This was in what? The top of the 8th or the bottom of the 8th?
Yeah, this was not maybe even the 9th or the 10th.
Okay, so you got to back it up.
Yeah.
8-5, 2 outs.
Nobody on.
Nobody on.
Yeah.
Ruby Shahebar at the plate.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from Ruby's happens to be having a fantastic hitting season right now.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's the first 2 weeks where he's going to come back down to earth. He's hitting the ball, and you got to give him credit.
Yes.
But you got to call out Nabi on this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, your team is hanging by a thread as it is, and you know that your team's always going to rely on you. You're considered a top 2 pitcher in this league. It's 8-5. There's 2 outs. You got the bottom of the lineup up. I don't care if Ruby gets on.
Right.
Ruby gets on. And then Leo gets on.
And Leo smacked the ball.
How do you not record an out to close out a game?
Well,
it just doesn't make any sense. Give them credit, fine.
Yeah.
They hit the ball well. But that's on Nay to me. And I love Nay.
I don't know why there were 4 outfielders before Abadi came up. They went 4 outfielders this whole inning. I don't know why. Cut off the hit.
For Ruby and for Leo?
I think so. Definitely for Marty Anteby, who came up after them. As a tying
That's
run.
strange also. Okay.
So you want to say he's a tying run, he's going to hit a home run, but he hit the ball right up the middle. He got a double because no one was up the middle. And then inexplicably, I don't care if he's a winning run, I don't care what he is. Second and third. The score is now 8-6.
Okay, 2 outs.
2 outs.
Who's up?
Jack Abadi is up. Second and third. And they pitched to the man. And I don't know how you pitched him there. And I don't want to hear from you, Farca, that you can't put the winning run on first base.
No.
Because you can't pitch to Jack Abadi there. You've got to take his base. And you take your chances with Jimmy, as good as Jimmy is. I don't care who's up next. There's a force at third, ground ball to third. You don't have to make the throw. I don't know how you pitch to
So
him.
what I would have done was, I mean, you could argue that walking Jack was the move. And then if Jimmy's batting behind him, you got to go 4.
Right.
And you take away that double that's going to bring Jack around from first and win the game.
Yes.
So
that's exactly what I would do if I was running
that's
that team.
a normal decision.
Right.
Play 4. Jimmy gets a base hit, fine. They tie the game. And then you just got to hope that you're going to get that third out and get out of the inning at that point. I mean, they're probably thinking, what the heck is going on here?
Crazy.
But I'm putting that on Nay, unless they made some errors.
No errors in that inning.
So I mean, that's really...
Look at this, Farca. I mean, we've been playing with tall grass.
This is great
for
baseball
weeks.
weather.
This is perfect.
This is great baseball
I'll sign up to this on
Yeah,
Sunday
this is
morning
fantastic.
if we could get this. What do you want to do with this? Should we move or should we just...
He's looks like, what is he doing? He's raking everything in?
How you doing, my man? He's not looking to talk to us either, Farca.
Yeah, he's slowly determined to do what he's got to do.
Okay, so Farca, you're now on my right side over here. This is my better side anyway, so I'm okay with that.
Sure, I asked you if you prefer a side, and you said no.
They're all good, baby. Okay, so you're blaming AB. I can't blame you for that. It sounds like you don't fully agree that you walk a baddie over there.
Well, let's
talk it out.
Shouldn't have got to that point in the first place.
For sure.
We know that. Everyone's got to understand that. And Nay for sure knows that also. He's got to be kicking himself that he let that game carry on 8-5 with 2 outs. If it's me, I guess it's kind of like a spur of the moment type of thing, you know? You don't really go into the game thinking that that type of situation is going to come up and you know that you're going to walk him for sure. Yeah, if you have an open base in the middle of the game and Jack's been crushing the ball Yeah, you walk him.
He did get a baddie to have a soft out the at-bat before, which probably was in his head, and he probably said, I got him out last time, let me just get him out again and get out of here. But to me, when you see someone like a baddie coming up and you see what's happening, the whole inning is falling apart, I think the instinct is automatically, I'm not pitching to this guy, especially with first base open. As good as Jimmy is, I don't know, to me, it's not a knock on Jimmy at all.
But it's Nay.
I know.
And Nay doesn't walk anybody ever.
Right.
If he's going to walk you, he's going to pitch around you and just throw you hard stuff.
I know.
But I don't think, did he ever intentionally walk anybody in the history of the season?
I don't know. I don't know.
You got to look that up. I don't think he's ever intentionally walked anybody.
Is that his ego getting in the way?
Part of it, I would say, but the fact that, I'll pitch the guy hard, and if I walk him on 4 straight balls, I'll walk him on 4 straight balls. I mean, he's got the speed where Jack maybe, he could, if there's one pitcher, or maybe him and Max, where he could get a guy to pop up because they got the pitchers to do that, he was probably thinking,
okay,
screw it.
But that's one pitcher, but okay, you had your Triple Crown year on Butter, right?
I was never intentionally walked, I don't think, because I had Zach behind me.
Fine. Zach had his postseason on swimming where, you batted in front of him that year on swimming. You switched it. So Zach,
yes.
So they were barely pitching him, but whenever they did, he got a hit. You saw what a bat he did last year. Like, I could only name a couple of people that you automatically think with the game on the line, can I walk this guy? I don't care who you are. I don't see how you could pitch to a baddie in that spot.
I think it's only Jack.
I think it cost him the season. But you know what? Let's say it was you on Butter that year. You batted 700. You batted 700 over 14 games. It's not a joke.
Right.
There's a handful of guys, but even if it's only Jack, he's the guy that came up. How you pitch to him and think you're going to get him out there, I don't know. But Nate B is also great, but he's 1-7. So, I mean, he's 1-7, dude.
It's tough. I mean, there's 3 games left, depending on, we got the Tigers out of the way.
Yeah.
We play him the last week of the season. I know that. Normally, I would say you never count Nay out.
Right.
Because it's Nay and his stuff and everything and his fire and whatever. But the last 3 seasons, he's yet to really prove to us, like those first couple of years when he came into the league, he was so dominant. And maybe he wasn't captain, granted. Maybe that's the problem. But if this was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would say, no. Maybe is making the playoffs, and when you get him in, he's probably going to make the World Series.
How about Charles Sacca leaving second base on an infield fly? This is also extra innings. 2 men on, nobody out. Extra innings. I think in the 11th inning, 12th inning, something like that.
Top or bottom half. This is the...
Ali Marshall comes up and somehow pops up. Unacceptable. Pops up to shortstop.
Okay.
A baddie again playing shortstop. Catches it but drops it on purpose. Nobody moves. Charles doesn't even move. Everyone knows it's an infield fly. The batter's out. We're on to the next batter. A baddie walks over to second, and Charles waited for a baddie to walk over and then steps off the bag, gets tagged out, double play, next pitch, inning is over. 2 minutes later, the Tigers walk off. I mean, Naby has been on some bad teams, but this team, I mean, they had some bonehead plays in extra innings. After the 3-run blown lead, I don't know. I guess I'm ready to write them off. I guess they're 1-7. They got to show me that they could be 3-7 or 4-6, and then we'll talk again.
I think Nay's writing it off, and I think this is for sure his last hurrah as captain.
Yeah.
Because I think, this is it. This is the 3rd time he's done it, and the 3rd time he's failed.
Yeah.
2 years ago, he lost that 2-1 game or 3-2 game against
1-0 game. 1-0 game when Aharon hit that triple.
Correct. So that year maybe was a little different. That team wasn't great.
No. They had Mo Shama was actually the captain of that team.
That was, you gotta believe?
Yeah, that was Mo Shama, one Mo time.
Correct.
That was.
One Mo time.
Yeah.
Right. So Nay wasn't even captain.
Wasn't the captain.
So Nay's been captain
twice.
Last year and this year.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And last year he missed the playoffs on the Friday playing game against Mo Haber's team before they played you on the night,
Right.
that Friday,
Right.
with the Kenny O'Donnell pitch. And then this year, it doesn't look like they're making the playoffs. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to your game, which was a phenomenal matchup against yada, yada, yada. I think it was 11-10 or 12-11. What was the final score? There was a crazy back and forth game. 12-11, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think it was because we were down. Yeah, we were
You were
down.
down 11-9 in the last inning. You
Yep.
put up a 4 spot.
Yep.
Then you gave up 2,
Yep.
which is crazy. So
It was, yeah, it
you were
was-
down 9-7. You went up 11-9. Then it was 11-all. Then you won 12-11 in game 1. Your team seems to have that unknown quality, undefined quality where you're just never out of the game.
That's
somehow.
exactly what it is. That's the feeling we all have also, which is good. And it's important because no matter, I mean, we're going to go down in some games.
Right.
We're not going to be leading every game throughout the season. But to have in the back of your head where, you know what, guys, we're never out of it because we've done it now several times throughout the year. We show adversity, we show fight, we battle back, we don't give up. And that's a big, big trait to have for a team going forward. And if you want to make a deep push, you're going to be playing better teams in a longer series.
Right.
And to not give up in the 5th or 6th inning when you're down by 3-4 runs, it's a big thing. And it really shows a lot about, you know, the guys that we have. And, you know, Jeffrey holding his own, giving us a chance to come back in certain times, in certain games. And I'm very proud of my team. And I feel like we're coming into our own.
You're a very together team. You're a very together team. You can thank me for that because whenever I go against the team, they all rally and they come together. So I want at least partial credit for that.
Okay.
Like Elsack is now my nephew, by the way.
Did not know that.
Yes, he married my niece. Lucky guy that he is, and now he's my nephew. So whenever I'm with him on a Friday night or whatever, he's like trying to bash me that I didn't give you guys a good grade going in. But you guys are performing a lot better than I thought. I got to give you credit. Jeffrey looks good. Yes, there's been some games like 12-11 where he's getting hit, but he's also had some very good moments, some low-scoring games. I remember the week against Hubba, although they played terrible, you guys played well that week.
That was a week. Yeah, I don't even think we made an error.
Yeah, you guys were crisp that week for sure.
But last time we played, we weren't so great in the field. So
Right.
we didn't help him out at all.
But you lost ABD the first at bat of that game, so you were
Yeah.
already a little short-handed.
Yeah.
You had the automatic out,
And we don't have a spare out.
and you don't have a backup outfielder. Except it seems that you moved Rishti to right now, and Jake is playing third. Is this breaking news that we need to be reporting? What's going on?
As of right now, Jake is playing third, and David Rishke is playing short center.
Oh, short center. I
Correct.
see. So Rishti was moved there because of the ABD
Correct.
ejection.
So that was, ABD was in right, Rishke was at short center,
Gotcha.
Jake was at third, and then we had to bring in Joe Ashkenazi to play short center, and then I moved Rishke to right.
Is Joe Ashkenazi still hitting like he was in the beginning of the year?
Yeah, he's coming through in some big spots. You know, I feel like he plays a lot of mind game with himself. You know, he gets down on himself very quickly, but
Right.
he's got to understand that, you know, you're not going to get a hit every at bat. And, you know, you always got the next chance to make up for it. But he's been coming up in big spots in the bottom of the lineup and turning us over, which is very important to get to me, El Saka, Lee, and Mark.
Right. So Lee looks like he's having a good year again. Lee, who's usually very, I'm playing horrible, this, that. I go, Lee, it looks like you're playing okay this year. And he goes, like this. So
He's
that
always
to
going to
me,
do that. He could be batting 1,000 and
Yeah.
he'll still tell you, nah, I'm not having my best year. That's Lee.
my biggest issue with your team going in was Jeffrey, which I questioned, but he looks a lot better this year than he did last year.
Well, I was telling you that.
You were trying to tell me that, I wouldn't listen to you.
I hear it.
But now I'm listening because I'm seeing it on the field. And then
I could see how, like, oh, he's just telling me that because that's the picture that
That's
he
who
took.
he picked.
Right, yeah. So I have to be positive and think that he's going to
Exactly.
be unbelievable. But I was going to his sessions for a month straight.
Right, you saw.
I was going there Sunday at 11 o'clock. I was going out of my way. My
Right.
wife used to ask me
Where
where
are
I'm
you
going,
going?
and I used to say, I'm going to watch Jeffrey pitch by Kevin. She's like, I don't understand what that means. What do you mean you're going to watch him pitch? Are you hitting? I said, no, I'm not hitting. I'm going to watch my pitcher pitch. I want to see what's going on because he's got a whole new repertoire, and I got to figure it out.
And you didn't have him on your official team just yet, but you were scouting him
this was
after you drafted him.
Yes.
So this is just another wife that cannot understand what it means to be in the YMSL.
No, not on a Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. We're starting to plan the day out, and I'm skadooching out for 45 minutes to go watch my pitcher pitch.
It's really insane.
That's what it was.
But that's what this league is, and she, her mom is married to the great EB, Elliot Braha, the most insane YMSL personality of all time.
Still.
I mean,
still.
Okay, so my other question with your team was third base going into the season, because I care about third base so much, and I didn't know if Rishti could pull it off. I thought you were going to move Abraham Soroya there, and ends up you moved his replacement, Jake Braha, there. How is he handling third base?
So we made that switch week 3. He's waving goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay.
We made that switch week 3.
Yeah.
When Rishti had to leave to go to a Brooklyn event. I think it was a family event. So he played the first game, and then Jake played the second game at third base. Rishti was at third base the first game, left. Jake came to third the second game and was lights out.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it. And I actually told him after the game, I said, Jake, you're making me look unbelievable.
Right.
And I had a discussion with a couple of the guys on the team, including Jeffrey, what we want to do going forward. And we decided that we thought it's best for the team that Jake goes to third and David Rishti goes up the middle. And Jake did have a off day at third.
It's
the
a
last
tough
time we
position.
played.
I mean, it's
You
tough.
know, the fields were, it wasn't raked. There
Right.
was some tough weather. He had a tough day, but it happens to everybody.
Of course.
And he'll bounce back, and he knows it, and he got down on himself, which I like to see. I like to show, you care, especially a guy that's never played in this league, and he's liable to just say, I don't give a crap and whatever, but he's into it. He cares. He's coming through at the plate.
Yeah.
Definitely working out for us right now.
He's a good guy. Like we inherited Aharon because he was a replacement. Now, if Jake I hope he's enjoying it and will play in the future because he's a good guy to have in the league.
He's enjoying it. He's into it.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's into it.
Is he catching the fever? Does he
I don't know if
understand
you know
it?
Jake, but he's a quiet guy. He's not like Mark.
Right.
They're opposites.
Right.
Jake only really speaks when he's spoken to, but I've caught him celebrating, getting hoorah, rah, rah, yeah, and I'm like, wow, this is let's go boys, and pumping guys up. And I played sports with Jake my whole life. We used to play ball together and everything. He's very calm and collected, cool and collected, but he's into it.
So let's go over to Fireman's last week. Hubba versus Toledo Mud Hens, Maxi Deed. Very clean games, I'd say. A slew of bad calls, I gotta tell you. I don't know if you saw the highlights.
I was watching a little bit of that.
I love Rusomano because the guy will do anything. If you tell him, Mike, I'm in a jam, I need you to fill in for this game or that game, he'll do it. The whole league loves him, but he missed a lot of calls this week. He had an off week. Like you said, everyone has an off week. He and Zambrano, who we never get complaints about, had a rough week, and it was all on video also. But
he'll tell you when he has an off week. He'll come up to you after the game and says, I missed a few, and I know that.
No, he sort of knew. He wasn't sure. He goes, can you check this play at first or whatever? And at the end of the day, they end up bouncing out. Sometimes you really get screwed. Sometimes you don't. Whatever it is, it is. Bottom line is, that was a split. I think Hubba's got to be happy getting out of Maxi Deed with a split. I don't think he's gotten swept since one hit. Everybody knows the rules. Because he didn't get swept on swimming. And I don't think he got swept on that red team last year. They got to the semis. I don't remember a sweep on that Mavora team. And this year he hasn't gotten swept. So I think you get out of there with a split, you got to be happy. Hubba played a lot better than what you saw on Memorial 1 in week 3, which was an utter and complete disaster. And Maxi Deed's team is good. Teddy Ishak has become a leader of this team. Not one complaint from his teammates about him, not one complaint from an umpire, makes every play at short center, and gets on base when you need him to get on base.
Oh, good for him. I feel like he's come a long way.
He has.
In such a short time, where he had that reputation where he's just crazy and He'll fight with anybody, and he's very vocal.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed it when we played them the first week of the season. He was cool and calm, and like you said, he made some tremendous plays against us
Every week.
and he's hitting the ball, and it's working.
It's working.
So as long as he continues to do that, and he's got those leadership qualities, which everyone knows.
Right.
You know, he's got the voice, he's very positive, and that team is good. The question that everybody has is that they're old,
Yes.
they're not fast,
No.
and speed is very important in this league.
I think so.
But then, you know, you have guys like ABJ that are going to really have to fill that void. And then you have Max. You know, Max is always going to get you as far as the hitting is going to take you. I mean,
I got to tell you, the trade last year the Knights made of getting ABJ, I think changed his whole career. Because in my opinion, ABJ for years was not playing up to his abilities. He was not giving me the 500 batting average. I didn't love how he was on the Maccabees. I don't remember then he was on that
rough and rowdy.
Rough and Rowdy. All of a sudden, and in the beginning of the year, he wasn't great either last year until the trade. Then all of a sudden, he started playing great.
And he made an instant impact.
Made diving plays in the outfield. And then this year, he's playing great. Every week, I look on the app, first inning, leading off. The guy leads off with a double or a triple every week. Like, it revitalized his whole career. It's crazy to see.
Me and AB have a joke amongst ourselves where I always tell him he owes me big time.
Yeah.
The trade,
Huge.
took him off that team.
Right.
We got a ring from it, and I introduced him to Kevin.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say I introduced him to Sonia when you started that
no,
sentence.
I did not introduce him to Sonia. No. I didn't know AB or Sonia when they got married.
Really?
But I introduced him to Kevin. We made the trade, and then we were talking, and I said, I hit the cages every week, Thursday, 5:30. I'm in. And he came, and he worked with Kevin. And Kevin had, changed a few things within his swing and gave him a little bit more confidence. And it's definitely paying off now. He's slowly getting back to that old ABJ, was that 500 hitter hitting gaps, and he's got his power back.
He's really hitting great.
Yeah, he's got his confidence back.
He's really hitting great, and he's notorious for not liking the cold weather. He's had to brave the storms, literally, play through the cold, and he's hitting great. Another guy who's hitting great, to add to the Leo Casson pitcher thing, Nabi is the best hitter on his team now. Max Yedid
Is still hitting.
He's still hitting.
Wow. Last year, I know he was top 10 in the batting average.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great hitter.
Yeah, he could hit the ball. He could split a right center gap. He could hit a line drive up the middle. He could hit. You could put him in the 6th spot, the 7th spot, and he could really hit.
Yeah, but legitimately,
Not an automatic out.
I don't think there's a slower guy running the bases.
You don't want him running. You don't
It's
want
crazy.
him running. If you're on Max's team, you don't want him running. You don't want him tripping or pulling a hamstring, because if that happens, bye Mudheads. It's
That
over.
team is good. They're a little old, like you said. They're a little slow, but they have winners. They have Mosham. They have Hank. They have Max. They have Ti. They have a good vibe going. It's working for them. Like, they won a game 4-2 last week. That's the type of games they're gonna have to win. That team's growing on me also. I didn't love it early on, but it's growing on me a
I
little
didn't
bit.
love it early on also. I thought that they were old and slow, and I kind of just compared it to like that one hit, everyone knows the rules, whatever you called it, type of team where it was Max and then a couple of surrounding guys.
Right.
One hit, everyone knows the rules.
Yeah.
And they were just going to fight and hopefully get into a playoff game or a playing game and rely on Max. And but ABJ taking his game to another level. Teddy really stepping up, vocally keeping cool and calm, making the plays.
Edmund.
I wanted Edmund in this draft.
Yeah, a few teams wanted him.
I wanted Edmund in this draft. We were almost going to make a trade for him.
He's legit.
He is legit. He's a great first baseman. He's a great lefty bat. He could pop it over your head. He could hit it to the left side. If Teddy continues to stay cool and calm, Max is Max. ABJ continues. You got to get a little bit more production out of Mo Shama.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
They took him early. I think he was a 3rd round pick.
He was.
So they took him early. Mo's got to hit over 400. And if he can do that, they can go far. But you can't rely on ABJ and Teddy and Edmund DeWeck to carry this team to a World Series championship.
Well, that's what they're going to rely on.
You have your Max. Hank is great, and we call him playoff Hank.
Right.
But not a strong enough core. You're gonna need Mo Shaman to pitch in, and then the rest of that lineup, if they're gonna make a deep run and eventually win a championship, and then Max is gonna have to kick it into some kind of gear like that swimming season. But
yeah, he's gonna have to kick it into gear because he doesn't have much room for error. You mentioned Mo Shama and you mentioned playoff Hank. I remember playoff Mo Shama when he was on that One Mo Time team that you mentioned. He didn't have a great year offensively. But that day when they got eliminated and they lost 1-0, I think he was 4 for 4 with 2 walks or something like that.
Okay.
These type of older guys, they gotta make it count when it counts.
They know how to. These guys
know how to. They know how to. They're not going to bat 500 all year.
No, but
that's for guys
big
your
spot
age.
in the playoffs,
right?
They'll come through.
Exactly. Okay. Last game was Mo Money versus Get Back. High scoring games over on Fireman's West. A lot of arguing, a lot of selling, a lot of
appealing,
a lot of he left early, all that. None of it amounted to anything. It ended up being 2 clear splits. What was amazing to me was that Mo Money was on an absolute tear since week 1 when they didn't have A.B. Cohen. Since then, they've been on a tear, and they went up 5-0. Probably the most shocking loss I've seen, because if you told me that team won 4 in a row and scored a 5 spot in the first inning, that they would lose that game on the roll they were on, that was an eye-opener to me. And to me, the petals are off the rose a little bit on Mo Money.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't like that loss at all. That's not an acceptable loss. 4 in a row, 5-0 lead in the first. I was shocked they lost that game.
I mean, they were probably on clouds. Going up 5-0, Mo Haber's got to be thinking, this team is phenomenal.
Yeah.
We're about to win 5 straight. We're probably going to sweep these guys.
Yes.
And we're clicking.
And Get Back, who they were playing, has not been doing much. They've been underperforming, tell you the truth.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, let's go back to Mo Money for a second.
Sure.
You got to like that team because they have the talent.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
There's no doubting that.
No.
The question, and everyone knows this, is are they going to keep it together the whole way through?
Right. Haber can do it, though. He's such a good captain, I'm telling you.
He's a great captain, and I would always sign up to play for Mo.
Yeah.
But there's certain guys that nobody can control.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's very simple. If they can keep it together, whether Mo controls them or they're just keeping it together as a team and they're winning games, they're going to go far.
Mm-hmm.
As long as A.B. Cohen could still get there at his age and still pitch like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this team is one small instance or argue away from completely blowing up, because it's not just an argument.
Right.
It's a blow up.
Right.
It could be a walk off the field. It could be a throw of the glove.
It could be
I'm
JT
not coming,
lying down in right field. It could be anything.
Right. Because there's so many vocal guys that want to voice their opinion. You got Jordy. You got John. You got MC. He's not quiet.
No.
And then you have JT, who comes in quiet, but will diss everybody.
Right.
And throw his opinion out there. And then you have Mo trying to calm everybody down like the father. But it's a very simple equation for this team. Everybody knows it. They keep it together. They're going to go far because the talent is there.
Right.
If they don't, and there's one small hiccup where one guy was supposed to field the ball and it was the other guy's ball, and they collide, and what were you doing? You were supposed to be move over, and so on and so forth. I'm not playing. It's over for that team.
But to Mo's credit, it hasn't happened
right
yet.
now, it hasn't happened yet, and I'm giving him credit because
I don't
told
like
him,
though at 5-0 when they blew that game.
That's a problem.
That's the time when all of a sudden there's appeals and there's nonsense and there's that type of like knee-jerk reaction to blowing that game. I don't love that. JT